Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here in this moment. This is Suzanne, and today we're going to talk about integrity, set, and setting. We are moving in the Northern Hemisphere into my favorite time of year. It's the earth element, and it's late summer. And for our brothers and sisters that are down under or in the right hemisphere, if you will, is probably more accurate. You are rounding out your winter and maybe start to feel that wood rising. So the reason this is such an important moment, no matter when you meet it in your annual solar cycle, is that this is that time of year to ground, and especially in the fall season and spring, there's energies that whip up. So that wood rising and the air and the wind, that creates a lot of dissonance in the psyche and in the electromagnetic system. So that's why it's really important before that first thaw, and also before those winds pick up, that you ground in the earth's energy. So as it relates to the earth, this is where we build our own trust within ourselves. Many, more than not, I will hear my clients and students talk about how they can't trust someone else, or they might not be able to admit they can't trust themselves. Part of the inner work is to learn to trust yourself, especially if you've experienced any type of violation or perpetration. That is a really important step in reclaiming your sovereignty within your entire being, and to make peace and forgive not only yourself but those that were around you. So the earth elements are root. It gives us our stabilization for life, and when we don't feel safe, that destabilizes ourselves. And then if we stay in fight or flight, that trauma response, or that survival response is more accurate, it's a survival mechanism that we were given, then we will let those other things go: food, water, shelter, and currency. And in this day and age, we have this exchange, and there's plenty, irregardless of what the talking puppets tell you on all media platforms. There is plenty. This earth plane is regenerative. Everything regenerates. Nothing goes away. Energy doesn't die. So what the earth plane really would like us to do is to honor the sacred relationship between ourselves and all that is. And that is being aware that everything that we receive, we are to create with and then give. Receive, give. So that constantly is moving and flowing. There was a moment within this earth plane when there were no entities or beings that caused trauma to the human species. And now where we are, we're at the end of this era where fear and predator behavior is being removed from the earth plane. And until that completely occurs, until all fear is removed and we return back to our sacred dance between all that is and is not, it's really important that every year on this sweet spot for you, so for us in the Northern Hemisphere, it happens right now in this month that's known as is going to be September when we hit that. It's at the new moon that happens right before we enter the fall. And also to let you know that these equinoxes are actually not accurate in the way that we are to relate to this regenerative process. They were superimposed on that Gregorian calendar. So as we come to this new moon, This is when we will be invited to re-anchor into the earth, re-establish where we need to shore up our foundation and focus there, and start to inquire within about where we don't trust ourselves, where we might have habits and behaviors that keep us from being our 100% best all the time. And that's not always easy. Depending on what your karma is in this lifetime, you may have a little bit more slog to go, but anything can be reconciled in a moment if you're patient with yourself and really start attuning to where you are in your annual cycle and what's in your present moment. So with that being said, that this moment, and then our brothers and sisters that are down under, still in the month, the universal month known as September, but they're going into their spring, which would be equivalent to March. That's why there's 3 calendars for this earth plane, not one. And it's really not good for the human psyche to be connected to this Gregorian calendar. It's not at all. And so as we come into alignment with this regenerative process, we'll understand that we need to keep our unique calendars based on the ecosystem that we live in. And even where people have like more longer days all year round, like Alaska, I'm thinking of, and not light, that's a whole other rhythm. So between 3, and then there's all these additional calendars that are happening that are unique to the region. Also, that is an extension of your uniqueness. If you are 100% born, raised, and native to the lands of Alaska, your biorhythms are very specific and need to be honored within that rhythm of light and dark. So the one thing that Earth will teach us, because you all will have the chance based on where you live to experience the anchoring into Earth, into the Earth Mother, is that this is a moment that you get to have an intention and integrity, learn how to rebuild trust within yourself, and to create the set and setting. So when any individual allows things into their physical space, into their physical biosphere, their body, meaning technology, people that you shouldn't be relating to, all these things will impact you greatly and create a dissonance and keep you out of the rhythms that allow you to be successful and thriving. Because remember, there is plenty. This is a regenerative planet, and there have been a lot of manipulations to keep each and every one of you out of dissonance, and one is that Gregorian calendar. It's with us right now. It's something that we can use to identify, like, hey, will you meet me on Tuesday, whatever date that is. However, that's as good as it gets. Or we could say, will you meet me the 5th day after the new moon? Or will you meet me the 7th day after the full moon? These would be more accurate ways to know where we are. Plus, it would require you all to pay attention to your lunar and solar experience that you're having. And sure enough, your body would start to flow much differently than being attached to Chronos time. So with that being said, integrity, we'll start with integrity right now. This is something that's so personal. So when people start saying like, oh, I can't trust them, they don't respect me, they start pointing fingers outward, this is because they're not in integrity with themselves. Our soul knows what's aligned and what's not. And when we trick ourselves or allow the outside world to trick us, convince us, to make us believe that this is some amazing golden carrot being hung down in front of us, that falls on self, because you are an eternal being and you have the ability to hold yourself in integrity. And it'll get easier and easier as you heal and transform and have your own checks and balances for where you want to stand. You cannot impose your will on anyone else. You can try, but They are responsible for how they show up. And if you are not in agreement or it doesn't resonate with you, you have the free will to walk away, to distance yourself, to create space so that you can stay in harmony with yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And in this day and age, they might call that a boundary, but that's not really a boundary. You're just, by living, choosing where you want to sit and have your lunch, choosing where you want to go buy your groceries. You are creating the framework for how you want to live your life. And this is super important for everyone to sync up. You're not going to please everyone. You're not going to be everyone's friend, because we are creating a tapestry. So imagine, over here in this part of the universe, we have all our yellow, golden, shimmery warps and wefts that are weaving a beautiful sun in the tapestry. And then we have all our beautiful greens and emeralds weaving a forest over here. So those resonances in those different areas are important, unique, and they are going to have ability to harmonize with one another to create this field of energy that we're all creating on a daily basis. The unique special part out when we're in a physical form, a human form, which is precious, is that you have access to those full spectrum of light, and you get to explore and bring those all into balance so that your eternal being can have a higher resonance wherever it is in that giant tapestry. So here you have the full rainbow field of light, and then depending the true nature of your eternal being, it may be in a certain aspect of the universe in a way that you can't even fathom right now. But we'll keep it that simple, that it's okay to be in community, in resonance with your friends and family, and equally important, that it's important to have conversations with one another. That's why all the elements, they're very different, but they have a unseen conversation with each other to support and create all this beauty. So it's not like, oh, I'm over here and I'm creating the sun and I'm not going to talk to anyone else. No, there's that reciprocation that happens, this eternal reciprocation. And that's why there's plenty. There's no lack. There's no lack. There's plenty. It's abundant. The issue is that we as a collective human experience have decided up until this point to be held in mind control under the guise that those with the majority are better than those that are perceptually without. However, we all are equal. We all have the frequency of the heart and the love governing through all of us. And we have the most lawful law that keeps everything in checks and balance outside of anything that's written in any scripture or any political law is cause and effect. And that cause and effect gives us the ability from moment to moment and from lifetime to lifetime to, no matter where you think you're going after this one, to express yourself differently and to pay those debts if you created some in this present moment. So what I want to share as we talk about integrity is that when you show up for anything in life, if you're going to have dinner at your parents' house, and if you show up being fully in alignment with who you are from the inside out, meaning that you feel like 100%, you meaning that your mind, your body, your heart, your soul are like flowing. It's like, yeah, you feel there. You also have a soft gaze and you're not grasping at anything. You're in integrity with how you were intended to be in your eternal experience and in your present moment experience. And that will waver day by day, especially being in a human suit. So when you show up in integrity, it makes a lot of things a lot more effortless because you're not grasping and expecting your mom to act a certain way, your dad to act a certain way. You're just there to really enjoy them and to share your resonance with them, depending on where they're at. And as mentioned, those moments are so special to be able to come together. And then you still have the freedom to, go home or go out. If you live with your parents, you still have that ability to come back into your full resonance and autonomous after you have that moment. So the integrity part is you really preparing yourself. And that's what a lot of the traditional tribes would do. They would prepare themselves to be in integrity, especially when they would go into ceremony. And the reason this is so important is because they understand the nuance of energy. And all of you have had probably experiences where something went haywire in your reality. And this is because the system has not been prepared daily to ride the waves of life. So when traditional tribes come into a ceremony, it is very important that they're in integrity and that they're clear so that they can be the best source of support, holding the vision, whatever the ceremony involves, that they can do that not only for themselves, but those that are participating. And this would be no different when I say ceremony and indigenous. If you go to church, if your priest is up at the pulpit and is not in integrity, that will dramatically impact the entire congregation. And it becomes flawed on many levels and lets energies in that are not the highest and best for everyone involved. So as these veils continue to drop, this is so, so important, because you want to be aware, and it can't come just from your mind. Like, people can make up a bunch of wild things in their mind. You always want to have the physical plane to confirm or deny the story you potentially made up in your mind. So let's say if we use the example of you belong to a congregation, you have your beloved preacher there, and let's say you realize over time, it's brought to your attention, this preacher has not been integral and is in violation of something unlawful within society that you live in. At that point, it's your responsibility, one, to make sure you decide how you're going to handle that and if you belong within that congregation, and if you want to remove yourself from it, right? And the same thing goes wherever you show up. It's for you to be as in integrity as possible for yourself and others so that society can harmonize with one another. So this is something that will evolve and deepen, and until you know, like I said, what this word means to you and how you can show up in integrity. And another example that's really important is that right now we have a lot of mental labels and societal labels and race labels. We have all these different things. And so it can make it very confusing. And let's say if you do have a pathology, a mental pathology that maybe requires you to need more rest or take more space for yourself, that word integrity comes really important, because it's, you don't have to tell everyone like your medical history or mental health history or anything. However, it's important that you're like realistic with what your capacity is and construct your life in a way that allows you to support the way you are and maintain integrity, not only to the outside world, but to the inside world. Because if your being needs more rest, it's important that you show up for your life in a way that will allow your body to have more rest or your mind to have more rest. So it's a very nuanced word, and I encourage you to think about it more and how you can bring your inner world into integrity. And this is the time of year to do it when it's our earth element. And for our brothers and sisters down under, this is going to happen in a year from now when you'll have a chance to be in your earth element. You're going to be in the rising wood element right now. So, and our brothers and sisters that are at the equator, you're rocking steady. You're kind of like being the alchemist with all elements at all times. So all this applies to you, but in little bits. from here, the set and setting. So if you're plumb with your integrity, inner integrity, you're really radically honest with who you are, what your capacity is, and what you're able to do in your life right now, that will really help you carve out what you have the energy for to put forth towards work, family, friends, any extracurricular activities, all of that. You will know how much you have to give, and you can be honest with yourself about that and others. From there, the set and setting. This is really important when we're working with the alchemical nature of Mother Earth, is that set and setting is related to the word integrity, but intention, integrity and intention creates the set and setting. So if to the best of your capacity that you're like, all right, I want to anchor in the earth, and I really want to anchor in love, compassion, joy into my reality, into my mental world, my physical world, my spiritual world, and my emotional world, then that is where you hold yourself accountable by saying, what do I need to do to keep myself feeling and exchanging these emotions? We'll get to the reciprocation, but just a feeling, this love, peace, happiness, calm. What do I need to do? And what does my set and setting need to be so that I can retain that? For example, some of you might have seen the show The Odd Couple. So Felix and Oscar, I think, were their names. And one is messy and one is clean. Probably not an ideal couple or roommate situation, because that is impacting their unique biorhythms differently. Some people thrive better in a messy place, and other people don't thrive not knowing where everything is. And I would say they both equally know where everything is, but in a different way. So if you think about your set and setting, the number one set and setting is your home. And if you can have it set up in a way that makes it easy for you to live the life that you want, then you have less things to think about and will not be as overwhelmed by all the things you want to put in order. And we have many cultures in the East that really, they're very attuned with the elements of nature. Japan's coming to my mind, in very simplistic canvas-like environments, and also up in our northern regions, Scandinavian countries, very simplistic design, everything in its place. And it's not to say that it has to be that way everywhere, but you get the idea. Like, you set the setting, it's like setting the table, and you bring forth the intention and your integrity with it. So if you want to have a really lovely, joyful meal with your family and friends, you set the table in a way that you would like to have everyone feel the flowers, the herbs, the candles, whatever you want on there, or nothing if you wish. And then you bring that energy that you want to exchange to the table and into the food that you bring. So the Earth Mother shows us this, and she shows us so many set and settings all over the world with the different ecosystems that we can reside in. And you might be able to attest that you are more comfortable in certain ecosystems than others. And that is perfectly fine and unique to you. So equally important to be in the resonance of a geographical region that resonates with you, as it is to really set the setting, no matter where you are, in a way that can really help you thrive. So let's say you're on a warm island with a lot of moisture, yet you prefer being in the mountains with the trees and the breeze. Then there might be things that you can do within that ecosystem to help you feel more comfortable. Like, maybe you have to keep your home cooler so that you feel like you can snuggle up like you would in mountain country with cold weather. Or you might really need to consider that you need to move into that region of the world. But in the immediate time, there might be things that you can do that give you some of the remembrances of that set and setting. Or just being in a jungle forest instead of the pine cone forest gives you a chance to feel that foliage and the energy of the plant kingdom, and can help tone down maybe any longing for that ecosystem. So I know this has been a lot, but as we go into this meditation, I welcome you. We have this nice little sweet spot over the next, I don't know, so many days and change before the new moon, when we'll be anchoring in that new moon, the earth element, our trust. And I welcome you just to see what comes up, where you are ready to be in more in inner integrity with yourself, and where you are ready to shift your set and setting and your existing ecosystem so that you can have a much more effortless and regenerative reality. Oh, and the last thing, reciprocation. Mother Earth teaches about reciprocation in everything that is in nature. And so it's important. Most of humanity has not learned to receive, and most of humanity has learned to give with conditions. And this goes back many millennia, ancestral millennia. So what I recommend for each and every person is you can go in nature and hang out and see about how nature is in this constant regenerative process. And then I welcome you to practice receiving. And it doesn't mean that someone needs to show up at your door with a package, but it'd be like receiving the sunlight, receiving the air, receiving the shade when you sit under a tree and read a book. Taking the space to really practice receiving. And then when something comes in, receive it. Even if you're uncomfortable with it, receive it. And then think about, oh, what am I going to generate so I can participate in the reciprocation? Because this is how the plenty works. When everything keeps being exchanged and flowing, and there is not the perception that of scarcity, because we're not on a scarcity earth plane or the universe. There's infinite amount of energy everywhere. So, all right, I want you to come up into an upright seated position. And if your mind is busy, I encourage you first just let everything I said wash over you. You can always listen to it again later. And I want you to bring your gaze to a focal point down in front of you. Soft gaze, eyes open. And then just take a nice, gentle breath up into your heart. And exhale. Again, inhale. And exhale. Another one, inhale. And exhale. And then gently from there, as you follow your breath in and out, I welcome you to utilize that focal point in your breath as your mantra. And gently let go of your perception of your mental body, your physical body, and your emotional body.
Listen, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot seen, it is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard, it is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen, it is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard, it is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot Listen, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot seen, it is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard, it is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling down. Listen, it cannot be seen, it is beyond form. Look, it cannot be heard, it is beyond sound. Wait, it cannot be held back. The sands are falling.
And gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern. Taking a soft, gentle breath in and out of your heart center. Gently breathing in and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Another one, inhale. And exhale. And then gently, as you're ready, move your fingers and toes. And then gently prepare yourself to rise up into a seated position. And as you bring your spinal column up and your sit bones to the surface below you, taking another deep breath in and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Another one, inhale. And exhale. And as you continue to breathe in and out, I just welcome you to listen into my speaking voice. And I want you to take as much space as you need before you move into your next. But when you think of it, if you can talk to yourself via a journal prompt or in your mind for a moment about where you're ready to come into integrity. Because once you come into integrity or start working towards being integral to what your soul is asking you to be in alignment and calibrate with, because that's where your learning is. You're destined to learn as an eternal being in this physical suit. And so once you come into integrity with that energy, then it will become much easier to set your setting. And this is where all the smokes and mirrors drop away, all the pretending to be this, that, or the other. It's really becomes much more simple. And when we come into integrity, we have to be radically honest with ourselves. And when we get radically honest, that's where we start to smooth out some of our jagged edges. So I want to express deep gratitude for each and every one of you just being here in this moment, creating the space to listen and be and receive. Practice receiving and giving in a way that you've never done it before. Really deeply receive. We need to learn and to give without strings attached. It's just this fluid motion. The sun isn't yelling, "You owe me." It's just this fluid, like, let me shine down on you and may you grow. You grow, and then what you grow, you give. So thank you for being here. Practice it. And I would also like to thank Kadri Scott, Dante Marino, Random Rab. Dante Marino just came out with a new single. Check it out. It's really lovely. And we're going to exit out with a little Kadri Scott. She has some new music coming up. And Random Rab has that album. highly recommend it. He's a great creator of long musical beds that are really lovely in all sorts of settings. All right, until next time, this is Suzanne signing out with a full heart, a soft gaze, a gentle smile, a deep bow, and a namaste. Be simply.